I am tearing up.
I just about screamed right now, and I'm not even there.
Now that's inspirational, Natalie. I feel inspired today.
Part two of this.
I could be here for another hour.
And then I was at the top of my class. There were only two of us, and the other guy was in the hospital. So here I am.
And I always go, he winds up homeless on the street. It's my fault.
Yeah, now you sound like my wife.
And you can get off.
I don't know. Call it Google. Or call it Google.
Border Patrol. Alexa, how does he get across?
Paul, I cut you off earlier. What were you going to say?
What?
Dang it! Don't do that to me, Paul. Don't do that to me, man.
I don't know what got into my head, but I thought this thought, if I'm working year round, I might as well get paid year round.
CEWT Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and subscribe today. Now, it's time to get started with CEWT Talk.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, CEWT Talk, here at Continuing Education and Workforce Training. I can't speak this morning, Gary, at Idaho State University. I'm Paul Dickey, your host, and as always, I have my co-host with me, Gary Salazar, Director of Continuing Education and Workforce Training. Gary, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome, Paul. Thank you for asking. Great to be back. I just realized where we were. I mean, we had a couple of short weeks, and this is a long week for us, but we have we're coming up on a holiday weekend with 4th of July. So this is a very special podcast. Yeah, we're recording this just before 4th of July, and looking forward to the holiday. Any plans, Gary? Yes, I plan to do more work on my yard. That's where you usually find me. I have grand ambitions, but I'm slow. However, it keeps me out of trouble. Excellent. Yeah. So, Gary, we have a special guest with us today. Oh my gosh, we are so privileged. We have a very, very special guest today. We have one of our own who's agreed to come on here, Mr. Jake Link, and we're going to talk with Jake about being a CPI here in continuing ed and workforce training. I'm looking forward to this. Yeah. So basically, a CPI is an intern that is part of one of the programs here provided by Idaho State University. It's a career path internship. Is that correct? That's right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I have no idea what it means, except we get a bunch of these young students who come on through here and they do various things for us, and we lucked into a really super hot intern in Jake Link. So this is going to be a great podcast, and I've got some great questions on down here. Are you ready for me to get started, Mr. Paul? Oh, yes, please. All right, Jake, man, welcome aboard. And you're on vacation. You're somewhere in Massachusetts, I think. I don't have the Massachusetts accent. Paul does. He's from that neck of the woods. But welcome, and thank you for taking the time to meet with us for a few minutes. How's it going there? Are you having a good vacation other than this?
Yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm thankful for you guys letting me be on here. Hopefully it's as good as your typical podcast, but I'm used to being on the other side of things, so we'll see. That's exactly right. Yes, and normally, and we'll get into that. Normally, Jake is our editor who puts the podcasts together for us. After Paul and I have a lot of fun, just joking around and talking to our guests. Jake is the guy who comes back and actually does the hard part of stitching it all together. Jake, thanks again. Let's start at the top here. You came to us as a career path intern. I really don't know all there is to know about internships there, but how did you find us as a potential intern? Do you remember that? So I remember it was last June. I was just kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do for work, and I got an email from my department. They said that there's another department on campus was looking for a video editing intern. And I thought, maybe I'll apply, see if this is something I want to do. And so then I reached out, got in contact with Paul, and now I'm here. That's incredible. And so that means you are part of a video program in the College of Arts and Letters. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct.
What is the, do you remember, what is the degree program that you're in?
Visual communications with an emphasis in video.
Ooh, so this is kind of right up your alley.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. And you know what's really kind of cool here is you get a very special supervisor who's also on this podcast. Your supervisor is Paul, isn't that right?
Yep, that's correct.
I think that's awesome. So you had a meeting with Paul, and Paul picked you out of, he gets a ton of people who apply for these positions. He picked you out because he thought you would have the most to offer to him, and you've been here since last year summer. Great. So about a full year.
Yeah. Jake's been here for about a full year.
Yeah. And ever since we hired him, Paul, this has got to be a little bit on you too. Ever since we brought Jake out and he's been working for you on a lot of different kinds of projects, right?
Oh, yes. Jake's been working on many different types of projects. It was nice that Jake came from the degree program. Previously, a lot of my editors came from the marketing program, but he came from an actual video program. So he came with a already established set of skill sets. And was able to take off as soon as he started. There was a couple things that he was not as acquainted with, like After Effects, but much of the other programming stuff he did have a knowledge base of, and so he went off and running as soon as he started.
Yeah, that's great. Do you remember, Jake, after you got here, what your first project was, or what Paul had you doing the first time?
Yeah. So the first day was just going through the website and the catalog. And then after that, I immediately started on the CNA skills videos, which lasted like 4 or 5 months.
Oh my gosh. When you say you started on those, can you describe a little bit more? What does that mean that you were working on these manual skills videos? And those were for the CNA program, is that right?
Yeah. So basically, Paul had recorded the footage and he had brought it all onto our drive, and I had to go through it, split it apart, piece it together, and figure out what went with what, and then make the videos.
If I remember right, Paul, these are the same videos that we have shared with the other schools around the state. Are those the videos?
Yes, those are the CNA manual skills videos. It was a project that we worked with College of Southern Idaho in creating these manual skill videos that CNA students could utilize in their training to help them learn basically the basic skills of helping residents facilities, so that they could be tested on this and be more successful on that testing. The thing is that Jake's did a little more than just edit those videos. I mean, he edited those videos, but also at some point we established that a narrative going on top of those videos would probably be the best way of completing the project. Because when we recorded them, we recorded someone doing the actual motions, and we did have someone to kind of narrate at the time, but we said, oh, we probably need a better narration. And so
we asked Jake.
We basically asked Jake, hey, could you just put in a test narrative so we can see whether this is going to work or not? So Jake recorded these test narratives that were only supposed to be placeholders. We were only going to use them for placeholders until we get someone else to do the narrative. And then he recorded these narratives, and then we were reviewing the footage, and Raylan, who's been on the podcast many times, was reviewing the footage, and I was reviewing, and we both said we really like Jake's voice.
So he started editing, and you added in the additional responsibility of being the narrator. He is the voice of our CNA manual skills videos. Oh my gosh. And that was unexpected, wasn't it, Jake?
Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. I was just doing it to put in placeholders, and they're like, actually, we like that. Could you do it again, like more serious? And I was like, all right, this is the first time for me, but why not?
There are Hollywood guys who get started doing narration and then eventually end up, in the acting business or something. For all we know, Jake, there's an Oscar in your future. So what a great start.
So that's one of the things I asked, Jake to do that was kind of unexpected. But, in doing a bunch of different projects for us, promotional projects, some classroom projects, uh, kind of tasked Jake to take on more and more of these projects. But at one point, he would come to me and ask me, "Hey, Paul, what do you want me to work on next?" And I was like, "I don't know." So I would come up with these ideas on other projects that he could do that, relied on him expanding his skill sets. Like the Christmas video that we had last year. I said, come up with 5 ideas for the Christmas video and let me review them. And then I picked one, and then he had to write and actually produce the entire thing on his own. So that was and everyone loves that video. He came up with
yes.
Oh yeah. So and then there was other projects where I said, hey, you need to. We were working with Scott Stevens on a project and kept waiting for a narrative, and Scott was so busy that he just kept not finding the time for. So I said, Jake, you write the narrative and then let Scott edit it. So he wrote a narratives for the Lego Challenge video that we had, which is a video to promote the custom training that we have for team building.
That is amazing, just to be able to say that in essence, we have this young man who's taken a degree program in communications and has an opportunity to try working with video, and he comes to us and you hand him a couple of projects that are not only supremely beneficial to our programs here, but also like in the manual skills video, they go out across the state and they help students across the state. Jake, I'm assuming, I don't know, when you expected or what you expected when you came to work for us, but is that something that you thought you might get into? Here you are doing narration, you're doing manual skills video, you're doing independent development of narration on top of stuff and things you probably don't know a lot about initially. What a surprising turn of events for me, but what did you think?
So I don't remember what I exactly expected, but I know they had mentioned having a podcast. So I had I'll maybe edit their podcast. But yeah, narration, all that stuff. I was kind of surprised, but I think I've figured it out. And it was definitely a good step, and it's helped me in my classes as well. So.
And how do you mean it's helped you in your classes? Is that something you were able to show as exercises for your classes?
Yeah. So basically, like After Effects and all the motion graphics I've done here, we weren't learning a lot about those in our classes. So me being able to use those in my videos that I was showing for class has helped me to kind of show off just a little extra bit of skill I have. And I feel like this job has helped me do that.
That's that's a really nice positive thing to relate back to our CPI office on how somebody who comes in as an intern is actually working on different kinds of skills that will help them later on, and they're learning, and in some cases I think taking an unusual step and going in a new direction. I'm talking about the narration as well. Pretty cool, Paul. I mean, I think we've gotten a golden winner here. The golden ticket is with Jake Link. That's awesome. And congratulations to you, Jake, for being so productive and willing to take on those areas.
Thank you.
Yeah. You've also got him doing some filming, don't you, Paul?
Oh yeah, occasionally I would have Jake do a bunch of filming actually. So one of the things that we, because Jake came with already a set of a skill set, was I was able to experiment with some of the equipment that we have rather than just being able to teach the basics. Because I've had other skill set CPI students, but I had to start from scratch going, hey, this is how you work a camera. With Jake, I was able to go, hey, we need better interview footage. And that meant creating shots using depth of fields shots, which are Sony cameras are great, but they shoot a flat scene, meaning that the background's as focused as the foreground. But we do have a DSLR camera that can do the depth of field shot, meaning that the foreground, the person in the shot is clear, but the background shot is slightly blurred. The DSL camera has capable of doing that, but with my previous interns, they didn't have enough skill sets for me to go, hey, learn how to develop this shot with this equipment. Whereas Jake was able to give that, say, hey, we need to do this interview, learn how to do the depth of field shots on this equipment for me. And, because he already had the skill sets of how to do video, that was something that he could then take on that task. And it's actually improved our interview shots that we film for the department, because we can have those depth of field shots that look more professional.
Great. Good on you, Jake, for being able to do all that, man. And you build up your repertoire. I hope you're adding all these things to your resume. I mean, it would be remarkable, I think, for a company here locally or around us to go, well, I need a guy, and I need a guy who can do some of these things, and you've already got those skills. So, make sure you keep track of all of those. Hey, working here in continuing education and workforce training, we have, I think we have a lot of fun with each other. We joke around a little bit. There's serious work that happens, and when that has to take place, everybody goes and does their job. But for you, Jake, what have been the challenges for you coming over to this? I mean, you got to manage school, you got to manage your own personal life, and now you got this job, this part-time job that you're doing. How is that working out for you? What kind of challenges are you finding?
Honestly, I don't think there have been a lot of challenges. It was almost like I could go from school to work and it felt pretty seamless. I didn't feel like I had to work more. I didn't feel like I was overwhelmed with my hours or anything. It was really just kind of whatever my schedule allowed, I could come in and work between that. And so it wasn't really challenging at all, actually.
Well, that's nice to hear. I'm glad you were able to make that work out so well for yourself. And working for Paul, is a barrel of laughs sometimes, I can imagine. But I think we as staff here at the university, we also need to be mindful of what our interns need. So I know that Paul is very liberal in affording you time to do the things that you want or you need to do, like taking a vacation from my goodness and going away. So that's pretty cool too. I think he's a wonderful guy for you on that. All right, let's switch it around a little bit. That was any challenges. What have been some of the high points for you as you've been working here?
I think just being able to, okay, so I have a great example. A couple weeks ago, we made the United Senior Project promo. And I feel bad because I can't remember her name, but she came in like a day or two later just to come say thank you.
That was Sharon Manning.
Yeah, Sharon Manning. And I was like, wow. So like it makes me feel like my videos are helping people because like people are recognizing, or like Katie, she came up to me, she's like, oh, you did the Christmas video, right? And I'm like, yeah. And so people are recognizing me, and just that like recognition makes me feel like I've done good work.
Yes. Yeah. That is so cool.
You have done good work. You have done good work.
When you get external feedback like that, it's a positive thing when people come up and say, I liked what you did. And you do get a lot of that. We probably don't give you enough because we don't want you to get too big ahead for all the work you're doing. But you do a fabulous amount of work. And I'm really glad that Sharon took the time to come up and say thank you for that. For those of you who don't know, within our community, we have something called the United Seniors Project. And Jake worked on a video to help do some promotion for those folks who are doing some worthy efforts in the community for others. And on the Christmas video, I mean, I got to put a plug in for this thing. That was entirely Jake's product. He did it from scratch, and then he showed it at. We had a like a Christmas get together one afternoon, and he showed this thing at that, and it was remarkable. He I don't know if you say scored it, but he did all the narrative. He did all the shots. He got all the actors in there and all everything else, and he put it together. It was really,
and he wrote
really
that
cool.
poem. And he wrote
a poem. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Truly an art project. And thanks for doing that, Jake.
Yeah.
That was memorable.
So Jake, Jake has grown a lot as an editor, and he was working on something the other day and he had me review it. And I think as I was watching it, this smile just crossed my face because I was looking at it and just was, I could tell the key hits that he was hitting in the edits. And do you remember which video that was, Jake?
Was it the Sid trailer?
Yes. Yeah. So Scott had asked us to create a promo for his customized training, where he presents his team building or team manager training. And Jake had edited a promo together, and I was just smiling because he had just hit all the right buttons on this. And I think I turned to him and said, "You are so much a better editor than I am." Because I'm a meat and potatoes editor. I edit things and I can put things together, but it's very much this piece. Jake can hit more of those emotional highs and lows than I can.
Neat. As he grows in that, he's going to get even better. How cool to have that recognition, Jake, for something like that. Hey, we're getting close to the end of our podcast. So Jake, one last question for you as we get ready to go out the door on this thing, but you came into us as a CPI. If you had other students who wanted to ask about being a CPI and had any recommendations for what they should do, what would you tell them?
It's definitely worth trying, like reaching out and finding these places, because like departments like you guys need that little extra help, and we can provide that with what we know. So for other people, even if it's in a completely different field, like just reach out to the CPI office, see if they can help you find a place that you fit. Because honestly, I've enjoyed this, and I think it would be better than any other job I could be doing right now.
Hey, how cool is that? And those are good remarks for future CPIs who might want to do this. I think one of the things we'll do, and I believe you're working on, is maybe a promo that we could give to the CPI office, and this would be a nice thing to get included in there. Jake, we're going to wrap this piece up here. Our time is up. You've been a fantastic guest, and I hope you continue to have a great vacation. We look forward to getting you back when you're all done. I think there's a few more projects on Paul's plate that he wants to get some help with. So really, I'm glad to have you as our guest. You've done fantastic work for us. Thank you so much on that.
Yes, Jake. Thank you so much. I'm so pleased with everything that you've done, and I'm so happy that you took this position. I can never say anything too nice or too much about Jake's work that he's been doing for us.
Yeah, really cool. That's the nice note to end it on. Paul, you want to go ahead and wrap us up here, and we can close this podcast up?
Yeah. Well, just one last thing. Jake recently graduated, and he is looking for a position. So if anyone is interested, please contact our office, and we will help you get in contact with Jake. And leading into that, if you want to contact our office, you can email us at cetrain@isu.edu. You can also visit our website at cetrain.isu.edu. And you can call us, of course, the old-fashioned way at 208-282-3372. Hey, Gary, as always, it's been great. I always love these sessions. Jake, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been awesome.
All right.
Well, everyone be safe out there then. Huh?
Everyone be safe out. Oh, and again, if you listen to this before the July 4th holiday, have a safe July 4th.
Great note. Thanks, Paul. Thank you, Jake. Bye.
Thank you, guys.